Welcome everybody to another episode of the Cho Thoughts podcast. I, of course, am the Big Cho. I keep I'm not used to really
I think it's
doing
like
this.
this way. Here we
Yeah, it's like
go.
it's this way. It's like I'm
It's,
looking away from it. It's opposite. And of course, my lovely temporary co-host Samantha is always with me. Got a got a good show today. Got a good show today. Got a guest coming by eventually, pretty soon here. I was just telling Samantha before we started. Obviously, it's that time of year. Sickness is going around. If you're sick now, I feel for you. I was just telling Sam, we got them recording last week. The next day I went, of course, if you know me, I donated plasma. I went to bed, everything was fine. I woke up Wednesday morning and I felt like I was just like hit in the face with like a concrete block. Like it was bad. So I I don't know what it is. I tested myself twice for COVID because you never know anymore.
mm-mm.
So I didn't have it. Thank God I didn't have it. And then like when I went to pick up Xander, like his mother's house was the same way. And I was like, oh good God. But like everybody's getting it. So I was
Mhm.
like, I'm happy that I'm okay. I'm happy I'm here. And like I actually want to shout out Brandy for being here over the weekend for helping me out with everything around the house. But it's nice to be back or else we wouldn't be doing this week. So uh so today we're gonna learn some stuff about um my wonderful cousin. She's doing possibly doing the marathon or 5K. I've touched on this a little bit ago. It's going to be her first time on the show. I mean, I don't think she's nervous. She might be. I mean, I don't know. I was nervous the first time I ever did this shit. So like I was just like, let's go. Make sure it's okay. I hope it's all right. I hope it's fine. And then like I was like, I have really nothing to worry about because somebody else is taking the controls at that time. But now, like, I don't know. I feel like when people get on here and get comfortable, it's fine. Like
Oh yeah,
you're just in a
it's,
Zoom call.
yeah. I was gonna say that it's like work call. You kind of just get used to it, except you
Right.
know.
Like I'm used to these for like the IEPs and stuff like that. Like I'm just like, okay.
I can't tell you how many times a week I have Zoom calls, whether they're trainings, meetings, conference calls. Like it's yeah.
Right. And the word on the street from last week's podcast is apparently your dad and my dad need to hang the fuck out. Because apparently your dad be sitting there trying to look or trying to talk to my dad about, hey, what do you think of this chick? She's sitting there, blah, 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 blah. And my dad be like, yo, she ain't got no fucking head, you know? But then all of a sudden your dad be like, why are you bitching about pine needles? You understand the wind blows, motherfucker. Like, and I was like, you know what? That's actually, it's not a bad idea. Like, oh my God, that would be hilarious.
They
And
would
I was
hang out
like,
and be like, "Did we just become best friends?"
right.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they're like, then they're on Facebook together. And all of a sudden I'm like, no, it's fucking chaos. Don't do this. Don't do this whatsoever. Because my dad, I was gonna say, like, has had like horse investors and whatnot reach
Mhm.
out to him on Facebook, and he'll send me a screenshot. At least he's like smart that much that will send me the screenshot. Like, is this legit? I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
like I was like anybody could send a standard message, but I was like, I don't know. You're gonna have to like look at the background of it. Like, hey, is
Mhm.
this guy an actual horse investor? Does he have horses? Stuff like that. But knowing my dad, he'd be just like your dad. Be like, oh, I sent him like 10 grand. I'd be like, okay, you ain't getting that back.
Yeah, right.
Right? I'm sorry you
See,
don't
my
get
mom is so different because like when she's online, like she'll send me things and be like, "Is this a scam? Is this legit?" And then if some random number calls her, forget it. My mom will blow up my phone and be like, "Can you do a Google reverse on this? Find out who this is."
I swear, like I don't know if your phone does it, but I silence unknown
Mhm.
callers. It's my thing.
Yeah.
And I will doesn't matter, like morning, noon, night. I'll always have like at least 6 to 7, maybe high 10 of
Mhm.
like silence unknown callers. But the same thing is these sons of bitches are persistent. Because they'll call with that same number, and I'm like, dude, if I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't care about my car's extended warranty. I don't care about some kind of quote unquote debt. I don't care about my college tuition because I never went. So,
See,
what?
I mean, I have put in for, the student loan relief program and things like I'm already on an income-based driven repayment plan, but I'm waiting for, the government to get their shit together and actually work things out. But I laugh when they're just like, we could take like this amount of money off. And I was like, no, you can't. Don't bullshit me. No, you can't.
Yeah, right. I don't have. That's when you sit there and you hit him with like the whitest thing ever. Like, I don't have time for your malarkey. All right.
Right?
I don't have time for your malarkey. And they just look at you like, ma'am, sir, can I go? I got shit to do. Like,
Exactly. I
or
mean,
if
in the last few days I've had, because I got approved for an auto loan. So now it's just going to buy the car that I finally narrowed down after I've talked to so many people about, different cars. I've talked to my cousin who not only is a mechanic, but he also like sold cars at one point. Spent like a good 45 minutes talking to him, being like, what car would you recommend? Which ones would you wouldn't? So I finally narrowed it down, and I just got to go like test drive it on Wednesday to go pick it up. But then like, hopefully get it. But I kid you not, the amount of banks, the amount of people, the amount of car dealerships that have been up my ass. I'm like,
yeah, buddy.
dude.
Yeah. So, what do you before our guest comes, like, what did you decide on?
I have decided that I'm going to get a 2025 Kia LXS.
Look at you. Great
Mm-hmm.
gas mileage, good on miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, it has a pretty good system because you got
Mm-hmm.
hardcore. You'll hear your
Yep.
ass coming from a mile away.
I'm
So it's
driving
like
in style now.
I'm getting near the client's house. All right, yeah, okay. Then when you pull away, it's like, no, back the fuck up. Here we go. But that's
I know,
good.
like, because it was like, okay, so it's still like a shitty time to buy a car, but I kept looking for 2024s because I was like, okay, well, at least I'll get a deal. Do you know how many lack of 2024 cars dealerships have? Like,
Really?
let me tell you, there were very few and far in between that actually fit what I was looking for. And like, I was like, okay, so you really don't have too many 2024s. They're like, nope. And then they were like, are you looking for a certified? Ever since I was 16 and got my first car, it's always been a used or certified. So I'm
Right.
like, no, I want to spoil myself this time. I want a brand new one. I cannot tell you how many people are like, you lose value as soon as you get off the lot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know all this. I get it. But once in my life, why can't I just spoil myself? Why can't I
No.
have something nice?
Right, because you're trying to do something for yourself.
Yes.
So speaking of doing something for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I'm now gonna bring in my wonderful cousin Rebecca here.
Hi.
Hello,
Hey,
Bags.
Michael.
Glad to be part of the show. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
Um, so I didn't get a chance to really do too much background into exactly what you're doing. I've had a hectic, pretty day today. So, one, again, very welcome. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
again. And just tell Sam and I what you're doing and why you're doing it, everything what you're doing.
Yeah. So I'm training to run a marathon in 2026, the Pittsburgh Marathon, to be a little bit more. So Austin told me to find a hobby. I didn't just sit at home anymore. Like I had to do something. So Austin told me to find a hobby, and I was like, I could bake, I could do gardening, and I was like scrolling through TikTok, doom scrolling, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run a marathon. And he looked at me like, yeah, no, you're not. And I was like, oh, bet, yes, I'm gonna run a marathon. And I jumped literally right into it.
That's
Jumped.
great. So, um, so are you doing this for obviously next year's marathon?
Yeah.
So so Austin's saying basically no, made you motivated to be like, fuck you, I can.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to prove him absolutely wrong. And then, like, I started scrolling through TikTok more, and then the New York Marathon was happening coincidentally as I was making this decision. And so I'm watching the videos, and the runners are going to their families, and, you know, they're talking about, you know, all their hard work paying off and how they changed their lives to do this. And I was like, you know what, like, I should. I mean, there's a lot of things that your health and your mental health and all of that. So I was like, you know what, I might as well just do it. Do it for me, not for my kids, not for my family, not for my, just something that I can be proud of.
That's good. That's good. I was like, I've also seen like you're putting it on socials, like tracking what you're doing and whatnot. And I'd imagine like that has to be getting like some kind of following by now.
Yeah, a little. I'm kind of like in the like baby stages of it. So I'm just doing normal training right now. I got a 500 something followers, and but as I'm getting closer to the marathon, I'm going to be putting more content. I actually have my first half marathon, 13.1 miles next January. So that's what I'm training for right now, is to run the half marathon, which I'm hoping to do one of those every 3 months, and then I'm doing a 5K every month. So leading up to a half
That-
marathon training till they're up there.
That's pretty damn impressive. Now, in January, is that in where you are?
Yeah, it's the Charleston Half Marathon. So it's all through downtown Charleston. It's a beautiful marathon, all flat, super easy. So I'm super excited for that because it's a really, really good marathon to run. It's
That's
really
good. I saw the last video I saw, so I've been out of the loop. Like obviously I said before you got on here, I was battling some kind of virus. Obviously something's going around. I saw you with the stroller, getting it in.
yeah,
Love it. Um, so like I'd imagine like with Everest and going out there and running, like you're also pushing the stroller. So it's
yeah.
obviously it's more like more weight and everything like that. That has to be like nothing against the child. It has to be a pain in the ass on like your legs and
Yeah, it's like strength training and running at the same time. I'm actually doing 7 miles with him on Wednesday. So he's 20 pounds himself. And then the jogging, I just got a jogging stroller because my normal stroller, I broke it running. I just got a jogging stroller. So that's 5 pounds. So it's like 25 pounds I'm pushing 11-minute miles. And he doesn't hold me back. I tell people he makes me stronger because, you know, that's training in itself. I mean, anybody pushing a stroller and running, like that's not easy. That's a lot of extra weight.
right.
I was
Plus
going to
that's
say, your
go
legs
ahead.
are going to look amazing.
Another perk too, you know, like by next summer, you know, I could break out those like pre baby shorts for sure.
Have like the thickest calves ever. You never
Yeah.
know.
You
Um,
don't lose running. You
no,
actually get running. Like
yeah,
everyone, you don't, I mean, I have to carbo load like all the time. I mean, I'm doubling my protein, I'm doubling my calories, like, you know, so it's more like muscle mass I'll be gaining, but either way, I mean,
that's awesome.
yeah, it's better than sitting at home feeling sorry for myself, which I did for a very long time, especially after having Everest. So I'm getting out there, meeting people, running, fresh air. So it's been good.
Plus this has to be like super motivating on top of like everything that's overcame obviously with Everest to where you
Yeah.
are now. This must be just driving you just you have one hell of a force
Yeah.
behind you and your family, of course, your
Oh, yeah.
kids, like wonderful in-laws and whatnot, and but there it's just especially like you said for yourself. This
Yeah.
has to be a good driving force for you yourself.
I mean, I wanted something for me. I want to be proud of it, you know, and people say that marathons change your life, and I wanted to change my life for the marathon. I was a smoker. I was a heavy smoker. I, you know, vaped. I don't do that anymore. Um, I'm not drinking alcohol anymore. I'm like cutting out soda, watching my protein. So like, it's really, it's my whole personality at this point. You have to be all in. You can't just be half. I mean, you have to be dedicated. I am up every morning dropping Calliope off at school, and then I'm straight out the door running. I mean, it's every single day, it's something. So it's definitely for me. And I feel really good already. It's been about a month and a half. I feel good. I feel confident, and I'm having a lot of fun. Now I'm having fun. I wasn't before, but I'm having fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So Sam, did you have marathon questions, running questions?
I just want to know what the training looks like because I run for fun. I do it as like, I do it for self-care. I do it as a hobby, but I've always wanted to run a marathon, but
Good.
I've never had the guts to actually be like you and be like, let's do it. I'm doing it.
No,
So
together. I mean, you should. I mean, it's about 18 weeks of training for, you should, from starting as like a brand new runner, 18 weeks of training for a full marathon and about 8 weeks of training for a half marathon. So a lot of it's like strength training. So I run an easy run. So in the beginning, my easy runs were 2 miles. And then I would do a strength training day. And then I would do like a day learning how to pace myself and then straight into a 7 mile run. So you're running like 3 to 4 days a week and you're straight training and CrossFit the other. So about 18 weeks to run a marathon. So you have lots of time if you would want to do it. It's anybody could do it if you have the motivation.
yeah. Are you using like any apps or
Yeah.
coaches or friends?
So I've actually switched my app a few times. I did a Run with Hal app. I didn't really like that. I did Nike Run Club, which I'm not really a fan of Nike. I'm on Runna right now, or UNNA. That is kind of where I've been doing most of my training. I really like the app. It's super specific. They talk you through everything. So that's what I've been using. And then just going on TikTok and learning from other runners and learning strengthening and CrossFit that way.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Right? Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's why I was like, I wanted you on this show, especially like we talked in last year's holidays. You were like, I want to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, yeah, no problem. And then it was like, I saw it and I was like, okay, all right, let's do this. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, we could sit there and cut up about our family completely, but
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll do that one day.
right. But like, it's something positive. I want to get behind it. I want it to be involved, like on it. I wanted it to be brought up on the show. However, support I can do, I was going to do it. So I was like, fuck it, come on.
Mhm.
Like, let's tell them what you're doing. Like, try to get, hell, you might get people involved to go run. But I mean,
I've already, my friend in Washington started running. She's like, if you can do it, I can do it. And I was like, yeah, you
Mhm.
can.
that's it. It's just, it's the motivation. If you can
Yeah.
just go, you're good.
Oh yeah.
Some people just don't do that. Like,
Mhm.
it, not
Well,
even in like in a sense of running. Like, it's just
see,
weight
that's what
loss.
I was going to ask you, Rebecca. It's like, what are the hurdles that so far you've had to overcome, like
Oh,
with running or preparing?
to be like very honest, I don't even want to do it half the time. Like in the beginning, I would like run a mile and then I would sit on my front porch, like disassociating, hysterically crying. Like, I do not want to run anymore. I do not want to do this. I have a knee injury from a long time ago on my left knee that was acting up. So I'm doing physical therapy for that. I mean, coming off of smoking cigarettes to running 7 miles, my lungs were killing me. My body was tired. My head was tired. I mean, there was a lot of wanting to quit and needing to take breaks and pushing myself, wanting to be better. And that's how you get hurt. That's how you hurt yourself, which is what I
Yeah.
did. So it's really me being stuck in my own head, not believing in myself. So today I had a 2 mile. I was able to do the whole thing easy breezy. If you would have asked me a month ago if I could have done that, I would have told you no. I would have stopped and cried and sat there and just completely gave up. So it's really a mental thing, a mental hurdle that you have to get over where you're thinking like, oh, that's 13 miles. I cannot run 13 miles. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, I can, and I will, and I have to because I paid $150 to do it in Austin. I mean, he has $500 on shoes. If I don't run a marathon, then it's just a waste of money, you know.
Right. But I
What do
mean,
you do?
go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was going to say, what do you do on your cold days? Because I heard you go outside, like you drop your kid off and you go, but like, don't you, what do you run in the cold?
Oh yeah, it was like 30 degrees the other day, and I'm like bundled up. I have like fleece leggings, and then I got running gloves from Costco, and a hat, and I just go. I mean, I actually take layers off the longer I run in the cold because my body starts to heat up. So yeah, for my half marathon, I have a long sleeve crop top shirt and then like 3/4 leggings, which I'll probably be too hot in, but usually just protecting my fingers, my toes, and my ears.
See, that would be a hurdle for me because I hate the cold.
You warm up really quick. I mean, like you do warm up, like you're like after a mile, like you're good to go. You just have to get past that first mile. And anything that you do, you just gotta get past the first mile, and it's easy breezy. And then you get warm and want to take everything off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could definitely relate to that for
Yeah.
sure. Like just last week in Pittsburgh here, Rebecca, it was like it felt like it was 7 out, and I was like all bundled up completely, but yet at the same time I was kind of sick. But like as I'm sitting there going through the motions and doing my job, I was like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I was like, I'm dying out here, and then all of a sudden the wind hit me, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I think I kind of do need this.
Yeah.
Because but to your point, it's just like if you're kind of working out at the gym, it's like your body heat is going nuts, and then all of a sudden, like if you were to leave the gym when it was cold out, you'd be like, oh my god, like you know.
Mhm.
But you're already doing that, like you're getting your body heat like acclimated to that mile, so you're just like,
Yeah.
all right, I just got to get my body warmed up, and then all of a sudden you probably just start taking off on that other like
Mhm.
second mile because
Yeah.
you're already warm and ready to go.
People who run marathons, they go to Goodwill and they buy warm weather clothes to ditch during their run.
Yeah.
And so I think, and I know New York City and Chicago do it. I don't know if Pittsburgh does it, but they pick up those clothes and they donate them to homeless shelters because
Oh.
you're not carrying that stuff with you. So they literally go to Goodwill, they get old sweaters for the starting line, and while they're at their expos, and then they toss it a couple miles in, and they just forget about it. Yeah.
That's good to know. I did not know that one.
And then most places who do the major marathons, New York, Chicago, Boston, they collect all those clothes and they donate to the homeless shelters around there. So I think that's really nice. But it also just tells you that everything goes. Whatever you
Mhm.
can't take with you, you throw at the starting line.
Right. And if you think about it, all of it is in a way positive and motivating.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like the whole thing, in a sense, in a whole, it's very worth it.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that's great. Like, especially like you still have the like. Do you still have like mental hurdles, or are you kind of like okay now?
I mean, yeah, I still have mental hurdles, but I'm able to push past them at this point because I know that what I'm saying isn't true. If I can run 1 mile,
Mhm.
I can run 2 miles. I can run 2 miles, I can do five. Five, I can do 8. And there's
Right.
parts of the run where I'm just like my legs hurt. I mean, you're doing 7 miles. After 7 miles,
Mhm.
your legs hurt, your chest hurts, and you're like, I just want to give up. And your brain's like, you can't keep going, but you do. Block everything out and you just look forward and you keep going. And that's just what I focus on. I mean, I'm sure I'll have moments of doubt, especially when I'm 10 miles into a race where, my time is being counted, or
Yeah.
halfway through a marathon, because I have a support system at home. I love my family, my friends support me, but I don't have a support system here. So there's no one on the sidelines cheering me on to continue to keep going. So I myself, which will make it all worth it because I'm only running Pittsburgh, so I can make my family stand on the sidelines and hold signs and be there for me because, if I can do this, then I deserve some credit for sure. I think so. But I,
Absolutely.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think,
I mean, and if nobody does, I said it right here on this podcast. Y'all can go fuck yourselves.
Mhm.
I, I'm gonna make everybody be there. Everyone's really excited. I mean, even my mom is like messaging me, like, "Oh, like no video today, no video today." Watching my TikToks, like, and my stuff. So that's the one reason I'm doing Pittsburgh, and I'm so close to doing it this year. But I know that it wouldn't be my best, and if I can't be 100, I don't want to do it at all.
Can I like Facebook stalk you and then friend you so I can follow you?
Yes, absolutely. Please do. Please do. I posted it, I think, on my Facebook a few weeks ago. But it's Rebecca Runs One on TikTok if it's interested. I haven't posted in a while. I've been going through something. I was sick. Calliope was sick. The baby was sick. So I haven't and my training right now is a lot of technical stuff, stopping and going, stopping and going. So I haven't recorded any videos, but I'm getting into longer runs. So I'll have more content up soon because people are asking me why I'm not posting. And it's because I'm going through it and I'm trying to just get to the other side before
Mhm.
Yeah,
I put myself.
absolutely.
There's nothing like embarrassing yourself for the whole internet, huffing and puffing, running on the internet. So I already did that. So there's nothing I can really hide at that point.
Right. I mean, I embarrass myself weekly on this podcast. So I mean, I think you'll do just perfectly fine. And
Yeah,
like
I
it's
mean,
like they come on mine where it's like, oh, what the fuck's he gonna talk about this week?
yeah, you just kind of, I hope I'm relatable. I hope that someone sees it and they're like, wow, she's huffing and puffing on the internet, and here I am now seamlessly doing it. But it's a lot of hard work. I don't like when you look
Mhm.
at, they are 100% athletes. I mean, it is not easy to do this. You're on a time crunch, if I don't finish the half marathon, 13.1 miles in 3 hours and 30 minutes, I'll be disqualified. So, you have to be able to do it by then. And that's probably 9 to 10 minute miles, which right now I'm at 11:10. But I'm running at my best at a 9:48 mile per minute. But that's still what people are doing. That's still pretty slow. That's really, really slow.
So the one thing I need to ask, because I know it ain't fucking happening, but it might. Austin, does he run with you?
No,
I didn't think so.
no. Oh, he's
Son of a
there
bitch.
was there was one day that I really didn't want to do it. And I mean, I crawled up the steps, and he's like, I came in the house crying. I was like, I give up. And he's like, I'm not running with you, but if you finish this, I will buy you a new Garmin watch. He's like, I will buy you one if you finish this training. And I walked in the house and he had it set up. So I got my Garmin.
There you go.
No, he doesn't run with me. He said when he was in the Navy, when he was in like boot camp, A school, power school, he said he did 5Ks every single day. He doesn't need to do it anymore. And I leave him with the kids because I don't like running with them all the time.
I feel
I
that.
leave him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Like, in a way, like you need your own clarity, your own
Mhm.
thing going on too. But I just thought maybe he would do like a Captain America and start running up on your left. I'd be like, no, no, motherfucker, no, don't steal my shine.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like everybody loves Austin and everyone thinks that he is the greatest. So he would definitely take my shine. I mean, when I did the turkey trot, my first 5K in my marathon series on Thanksgiving, he pushed the kids in a stroller, but he was just watching me run in circles. That was all he was doing. But the kids were occupied.
Well, while I'm sitting here talking to you right now, I don't care if he hears me or not. Hey, Austin, your wife is allowed to listen to this podcast when you're not around.
Yeah, listen to it together because, that's just how it is.
But how dare you, Rebecca, listen to it because, oh my God. Yeah, like, no, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's two different likes, okay, or two different
You're
views.
right. You're right. I sometimes like if we listen to it on one thing, I'll go like on myself and I like YouTube or watch it on YouTube just for an extra view.
Yeah,
Oh,
hey,
Do you ever listen to it while you run?
I don't really listen to much while I run, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I don't I don't know. I mean, I have like a playlist, but I kind of just like to go. I mean, headphones, you're not allowed to have headphones or music on most marathons.
Oh
So
wow.
the Pittsburgh Marathon, it's highly discouraged. For the New York Marathon, it's banned. I think the Chicago and Boston are also banned, but you're not allowed to wear headphones. So you're not really allowed to run with music because you can't
Why
hear.
is that?
Yeah, because you can't hear race officials, which is a big safety thing because you're running through. I mean, you're running through busy cities, but they're Shocks headphones. They're the bone conduction ones that I steal from Austin. And I'll listen to music sometimes, but I really don't like listening to anything. It's just like it messes up my tempo, my internal tempo
Mhm.
set to make sure that my pace is good. It messes it all up.
but then there are some times where you're like, you know what, I just feel like getting this out the way. Let me jam out real quick.
Yeah, yeah, and it's always Kendrick Lamar, if you're wondering. Always. That's why I keep my own conductive headphones because the bass is it's too loud.
Because as you're running, all of a sudden it's just vibrating mustard so loud, and you're like, okay, damn.
Yeah, and I have chronic. It does not help those at all. I've been wearing them a little more lately. Austin told me to turn the music down, and I didn't want to do that. But because I'm running at night now, and at night I definitely like to have like low music on because
You could have a scary situation.
yeah. I have to be safe. I have pepper spray on hand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pepper
Uh,
spray on hand. My location's shared. My headphones are
Yeah.
low. My surroundings, and I haven't really ventured away from like my little neighborhood yet because I'm not comfortable enough to do that because it happens a lot more often than you think it would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's what I do in the summertime because I like to run outside in the summer and it's always low music, pepper spray with me, like always watching my surroundings and I never leave like my little radius because this way my mom knows my location, my sisters know my location, like they know where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way the world is right now. That's what you kind of have to do. But I don't really leave my little area. My neighbors
Mm-hmm.
they watch me and I talk to them. So I feel pretty safe in my area. But venturing out, like doing runs like in downtown Charleston by myself, that's not gonna happen quite yet.
Yeah, I think I watched too many crime docs and shit like that. So I'm just like, don't you be fucking running out of there. Don't keep it with the tight knit community. Let's just do that. But even that's not
I know for myself, I don't know how you feel about it, but like I get paranoid even if like a man is like running next to me. I'm like, okay, let me just stop. Let me give him a minute, let him go by. Like I still get paranoid.
I mean, and like the running community, like if you don't look at another runner of the opposite sex and like acknowledge them, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel safe. So I acknowledge everybody. I look them in the eye. I let them know that I saw them. And usually it's just kids like wanting to go to the convenience store down the street, but you can never be too ever.
No, especially like you said, in this day and age, anybody can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's obviously one like hell of a benefit to this, but then in the same sense, it's like there is a low, and it's like the lowest of the low. It could be some asshat, just and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, it's like I would pepper spray the fuck out of that person and start just beating them.
Yeah, I keep it on me. Like it's always right here. I have a running vest usually for long runs. It's always right here, or I keep it in my hand. And at night, I have a glow stick right now to people to see me. I'm gonna get a reflecting vest eventually. I'm probably gonna order that as soon as I hop off of here. But safety during the day, I'm not too worried about it. But especially with the baby, I try to stay on busy streets or my little neighborhood because again, my neighbors watch out for me. But I'm not running too far away by myself yet, so my runs get pretty boring pretty quick running in one circle.
So when running with Everest, he has to enjoy this.
You would think. I mean, like he's sitting in a stroller, he has a snack, he has toys. I mean, like my phone's playing music for him, he's lounging. No, he hates it. He hates every second of it. I think maybe I want to say 30 minutes in, he's fine, and then he's screaming. He's like, out of this. He doesn't like to be tethered down. He does not like to just go, 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 go. He wants to be running. But he has this little bike that he had that he got for his birthday. And if I pushed him in that, he'd be fine. But it has a really bad turn radius and it is terrible to push. But he does not like the stroller when it comes to running. No.
Poor guy.
And he's living the life. I mean, like wind in his hair, mom, pushing behind him, music, snacks, water, but nope, he hates it.
That's what I would think. You're in that, in wonderful weather. You got some things going on. It's like, yeah, this, what this ain't so bad. Hey, Ma, look at you. All right, all right. Meanwhile, he's like, get me the fuck out.
No, yeah, he's like, I want to go home. You're crazy. Why am I out here with these people? And
he was like, I was good for like, I'm still hungry. Like,
yeah. Obsessed with the squirrels in our neighborhood, so like he'll scream when he sees one and we have to stop and we have to like point at it and look at it and talk about the squirrels. And then the neighborhood cat, he has to stop and wave to the cats and he has to say hi to the neighbors, and it's just at that point it's not even a run anymore. It's
he just thought to just like, hey, how are ya?
Yeah.
By the way, this is my mom.
Yeah.
But you see that squirrel? You see that shit? How about that cat? Hey, Fred, how are you? How are you?
Yeah, he climbs the windows. He climbs our front window to look out and see squirrels.
That's epic.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, you'd think he'd love it. He does not.
Wow, man. I really thought he would, man.
That's
crazy. But yeah, I mean, you have to I'll get like all your stuff.
Yeah.
Like all your social information and whatnot. I'll put it on the ticker like for the next till like the beginning of the year.
Perfect.
So it'll be on the ticker here and be like, just and then I'll share it when we do the podcast, and then and then I'll try to keep in touch with you and let them know because people are gonna ask me. I mean, I don't know. It took them forever to ask fucking questions, so I don't know. I don't know why people were like so afraid, but
Yeah.
but I mean, it made me and Sam shoot through a podcast pretty damn easy with questions.
I enjoyed that podcast. I even I texted Paul, Sam, and I was like, I really enjoy her on your podcast. Like yes, I was so excited.
Thank you.
She's a breath of fresh air.
I agree.
Plus, I was like, I'd like to have the female co-host too. That way, it's just not just two guys shooting shit about sports, wrestling, same old, same old. That's why I like when Sam's here, and as she is here now, we balance each other out.
Oh,
It's great for the show. But we'll let you go. I thank you again so much for being on here.
Thank you for having
Yes, thank you.
And then whenever, if you want to come back, after the half marathon or whatever, you can tell us how it went. And
absolutely. January 5th. January 25th. I'll be back. I'll be back in February to update you on what I have next.
That works for me.
All right.
Thanks for coming, Rebecca.
Bye. Thank you.
So you're gonna start running the marathon or what, Sam?
I did not know that you were not allowed to listen to music because I felt her when she was like, there are days that I don't want to do that. So I can't run in the cold. I hate the cold. I hate how it makes me feel. So my winter, it's at the gym. I will be running I run the treadmills.
You're gonna be that person where it's like I'm all warmed up and then you go outside and it's like
right. So now she's got me a little bit more motivated to try to bundle up and try to see if I can run outside in the cold. See how it goes.
See?
No promises, but I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to try it.
Hey, I mean, when I first heard of it, I was like, wow, okay, this is cool. Plus, I've been pulling for her. She's gone through it, and I'm glad she found an outlet. Obviously, nobody wants to sit there and be like, hey, I'm the baker, and hey, I do this. And, it's kind of the cliche, same old, same old. Hey, I found this. But for her outlet was I'm gonna run the fucking Pittsburgh Marathon. Bet. That is one, I commend her. That's one hell of a goal to just shoot for real quick. Where it's that's what I'm gonna fucking do.
Yeah.
And now for her, being so driven into it, and hearing that the beginning part where it's dude, that fucking sucks. You're you don't want to do it. You don't I don't know. But
I still on those days. I will be on the treadmill and then it'll probably be the end of the week I'm on the treadmill going and I'm be like, oh my God, I'm just not in this today. And literally there are times where I'm like, fuck this, and I get off the treadmill and go home.
Right. There used to be not running, but when we would go to the gym, there would be days I'd be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna try to get a good my goal at the time was I'm trying to burn 1,000 calories on this treadmill. And that would be my thing. That I kept striving for it and doing it. And then I would go over to the one exercise where you're doing crunches. And I would put that bitch on 220. That's not even a joke. Ashley or Charles, my cousin, saw me do it. And I was then I remember I was doing it for a while. And then it was the next day I was going to do it. And I was like, man, fuck this. One, I forgot to let my stomach rest for a day. But there are those days where we would go to the gym or I would go to the gym and I'd be like, man, you know what? And I would be on a treadmill or in the middle of a set and be like, man, fuck this. I don't want to. But then I did it a couple of times. But after that, I was just no, no. I came here to do this. This is what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
So I just, that drive and being that driven, I actually miss it because I've been wanting to go back to the gym myself. But then I'm like, well, diabetes was here, let's shed off 100 fucking pounds. And I was like, well, that's not so bad.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
then I like with my job, it's so physically demanding. I already feel like I'm getting
Mhm.
out. So then when I
Yeah.
come home, I'm gassed like if I went to the gym.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't know. Rebecca's kind of driving me to like get back in the gym again. So I was like, thanks, Bex. Like that just made my day. Like it
Yeah.
really did. It was like, hey, you know what? But then again, this is also that time of year where people are like, man, you know what I should do?
Yeah. See, that's
Right?
why I invested. It was about 2 months ago, actually. I invested in a treadmill just for my apartment because I was like, it's like I get up early in the morning as it is, and then just head in there. It's cold, and then I'm just like, do I really want to get up out of bed? And then you know how crazy I can work during the week, and then having to go to the gym. Like half the time, it takes a lot of mental strength to be able to get that motivation to be like, let's go. So as soon as I put the treadmill in my apartment, I was like, I come home and I look at it. I'm like, there's no excuse. Get on it. Like, watch some TV as you are on the treadmill. Let's go.
See, that would be sufficient too. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like if it's here at the house, like I would put on something and be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Catch up on my shows or whatever, shit like
that's what
that.
I was saying. Like, I ran a mile and a half yesterday watching The Wizard of Oz.
It was on. It
Yeah.
was like it is that time of year, so I was like, okay. I think it was like Rudolph was on, and then the Wizard of Oz or whatever, or something like
Uh
that,
huh.
or vice versa. And I was like, huh, all right. And then like I saw it, and then of course I don't know why I went to social media, and that's all I saw. And I was like,
Yeah.
everybody gets so excited for the Wizard of Oz and Rudolph, and I'm like,
I literally sent my sister a message because she's a pet groomer, and I was like, "It's official. I'm getting like a Cannon Terrier or whatever." And she's like, "Oh, those are cute dogs." And she's like, "What made you want to get it?" I was like, "Toto."
the fucking Wizard of Oz. Come on, get it together. Plus, I mean, I figure putting the Wizard of Oz on now, like in December, instead of like what they usually do it in like October or November.
Hmm.
Now with the hype of Wicked, like
Yes.
you might as well just put it on now
Hmm.
because people can go, see the film and then be like, oh yeah, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Or kids that have never seen the Wizard of Oz but wanted to see Wicked,
Hmm.
like, oh, who are these people in the beginning of the movie? And it's these people.
Hmm.
No, and I was like, yeah, all right. I mean, I've always liked the Wizard of Oz. It's you knew when it was like October, November, because the Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz. Be like, oh, all right, here it
I'm
comes.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I was always like the odd man out when it came to this, but Glenda annoyed the crap out of me and still does.
In the
I am
original
like
movie, she's such
team,
a bitch.
huh?
In the original movie, I guess now that I've seen Wicked on Broadway, I've seen the Wicked movie, and like now getting more of the backstory and whatnot as we're getting
Uh-huh.
here. Yes, yes, I'm kind of
Yeah.
with you on this. It's like, man. Plus, in the movie, she is a bitch.
See,
Like,
see, I need to
Wicked.
watch the movie because I have questions that have never been answered. We know the Wicked Witch of the West died. Okay. My girl, the Wicked Witch of the East, went after Dorothy for those shoes. Right. Then we have Glenda, who is the Wicked Witch, not the Wicked. She's good, the Good Witch of the North. Who the hell is the Witch of the South?
You had your West and East confused, but you had it. You were
Okay.
good. But yes, who the fuck is running the South?
And I need to know, is she related to Glenda? Because is she a good witch? Is she another bad witch that we don't know about? Were there
Right.
triplets? Were they all, what's going on? I need answers.
I was like, you Wizard of Oz enthusiasts and historians and people that have read the books and all that. We need to know.
Right?
We need to know. Because, like, I think maybe, just maybe, because Ashley's very into Wizard of Oz. And I think that something of that question passed me. And this is like when I started dating her, or like before I did, when we used to watch it with like my grandma or my mom. And I think I just reiterated it to her one time. Like, yo, who's in the South?
Yeah.
Like, you got the East, you got the West, you got the North. Who's chilling?
Uh-huh.
I mean, unless the South's like the wizard. But like to
See,
me,
but
that
that's just
doesn't
where
make
I
sense.
have questions too, because the North and the West were sisters. I mean, the East and the West were sisters.
Correct.
Does that mean the North and the South were sisters too?
And if
Did her
so,
sister die as well? Is that why there's no witch of the South? And if so, how did she die? Because one, I don't think it was a house that fell on her.
no. And then, if so, why have we never fucking heard about her?
Yeah.
Why you doing the fucking Witch of the South so dirty? Like, what does she do? Seriously. Yeah, like, that's a good point, though. I'm glad you brought that up because I've been wondering that for years. So maybe somebody will get to us, and then I'll be like, next week, I'm like, hey, Sam, listen to this shit. Let me,
Right?
let me, let me hit you up with some fucking truth. Be like, let me tell you about this shit. But yeah, like, I've never, so many questions. When you see Wicked, you're going to be like, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Because that South one don't get answered. I'll just give you that one. I don't do
I'll have to
spoilers.
Google. I'll get on my Google rabbit
But
hole. I'll find it.
it'll just be like we'll give the people a week.
Mhm.
If I don't hear any shit, I'll be like, Sam, unleash Google. I'll be like, because I ain't fucking got time for that shit. So you're leaving in how many days now?
I leave on Monday.
Shit balls.
So 1 week I leave in my
So,
new car.
and now, while are you gone until New Year's or like January?
I will be driving back to Pittsburgh on the 1st.
Okay, that's gonna be
That's
fun.
that's 16 days without me. I know. You'll miss me. It's okay.
Well, what I'm thinking about doing is if you have free time, possibly like tomorrow, which would be the weekend, of course, of this
Yeah.
podcast. Maybe you and I will just do like the Christmas one, or maybe we can even do the one after.
Mhm.
And I don't know, maybe I'll do something like kind of like last year's when like you phoned in and you were like, "Hey, blah 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 blah," and I was like,
Yeah.
all right. But this time I might need video because I want to like see your mom yelling at your dad because he's inside of Facebook. And I'm going to sit here and a puddle of piss is going to go down my leg because I'm going to be blood red, losing my shit. Like, I'll have to mute myself because I'll be fucking in hysterics.
Like,
But
okay, so I'll be spending a couple of days with my best friend, and then I will be spending a couple of days with my mom and my dad, and then the other time will be with my sister. So like I could just see it now if I'm like on the podcast with you. My mom, she likes to chill at nighttime on her in her bedroom, and she does a lot of arts and craftsy things. So she'll be like working on painting or doing something. And I could see her be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "I'm on a podcast." And she'd be like, "Oh, hi, how are
I, when I first started doing the videos, I remember I told Eric, I was like, because he always said, "Oh man, it would be fucking great if we can get Senior on this podcast." I was like, "Do you want that evil?" I don't want that evil. I don't want that evil. I was like, you know, what'd make it even worse. He was like, Darlene. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, what's happening?
Look, yes, and I love my mother to pieces, but my mother is strong. I honestly think that my mother has autism, just undiagnosed. Okay, and she definitely struggles with filters, social filters. So I would not be surprised if my mother just keeps going and then starts saying some embarrassing, inappropriate shit. Where I'll be like, guys, I'm peacing out. See you later.
And then I'll look at you just like this and be like, and I thought Eric was going to get us canceled.
Right? We're like, no, leave it up to my mother.
Right? Oh my God. But you mentioned like your mom paints.
Hmm.
Like, do you have any of her art?
No, she does. She like what is when I say paint, it's not like she makes the photos. Like she doesn't paint, like
Oh, like
paint,
on
paint.
canvas?
Yeah, she does more of like if I got her statues or furniture, she'll make designs on them. She'll repaint the statues, like to jazz them up. And she
Oh,
she does try to sell them on eBay from time to time, but. she then gets too attached to her work, and she's like, but this one is really pretty and would look great in the garden. And I'm like, the idea is to sell them,
So your mom's
not
like,
keep them.
your mom's creating things that she's like a Delia Dietz in Beetlejuice. She's like, look at this. Isn't this amazing? You know, we could sell that. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
She's very into angels, right? So
Okay.
like my sisters, myself, my dad will get her like different types of angel porcelains, even like the precious angels, those type. She'll paint them up, she'll color them in. She's also the type that she's really creative, and like if I get those precious moment dolls, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that already, I can give her one and she'll strip the paint and redo it. Like there was one that I got her, and I think it was like Mickey and Minnie, and she turned it into Beetlejuice and Livia. And it was really cool how she's able to paint and make them look different. So that's what she does. But the idea is that I try to get her to sell them so that she can make money. And then my mom just collects them all because she doesn't want to let them go. So now,
Right.
like, my dad's in the living room being like, do you see this shit? Do you see how many collectibles I now have?
That's when you pull out his phone and be like, you see this shit? You
Right?
see this shit? All right, don't come to me with this shit, Dad. All right, let's have all these trinkets. They at least have heads.
And yet he like enables my mother by putting shelves up in her bedroom and putting shelves up in the living room and being like, put them all over. I'm
You're just enabling her, Dad.
like, right?
Fine. Fine. You know we can sell this shit, right? Like anybody hear me? Anybody here? Anybody? Okay, cool.
Because like
I think I said that we can sell it.
my mom years ago, she used to work at a hospital, and she used to actually run the housekeeping department. She was like the head of it. And she actually got hurt really bad on the job, and she was actually able, she won the lawsuit, but since she's gotten older, she's had way too many health complications to a point she just can't, like, she can barely stand longer than 10 minutes without her being like, I can't do this. Like she has joint pain, fibromyalgia, I can never say myalgia, however it is.
Fibromyalgia.
Yes. And she's got all these like muscle and joint pains. Like it's horrible. She goes to physical therapy and a chiropractor, and it's still like she can't do it. She can't stand long periods of time. She can't sit for long periods of time. Like, so working an average job just isn't in the cards
It's
for
not in
her
the cards,
anymore.
no.
So, but she gets bored very quickly because, like, my dad works a lot to keep, because he has to at this point. And she's stuck at home, and she goes for a walk. She'll take the dog for a walk and whatnot, but she'll call me like probably 4 times throughout the day. What you doing? Can you tell me how's it going outside? Is it raining by you? I need to know what the weather's like. She just does anything so that she's not bored.
But she's one of those moms where it's like, I'm bored. Let me call my daughters.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? All right. Hey, Ma, I'm working.
Yep.
Oh, okay. How's that going, Ma? I can't tell you too much about it.
She knows that, which is like, so now we've come to an agreement that I will call her like as I'm in between sessions. Like if I'm on the call and I'm driving out to the next session, like I'll call her. And like today I talked to her when I had a half an hour in between sessions, and she just like went on about how I know my sister doesn't listen, so it's okay. She was like, I bought your sister's cat a stroller, and I'm kind of jealous that it's not for mine.
We went from one parent last week to the other.
Yeah.
This is fucking great. Oh my God.
She's like, do you think she's like? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. She's like, it's pink. And she's going to walk around with a pink stroller for her cats.
Yeah, the cat's gonna love it. That cat ain't gonna give a shit about that stroller.
Right?
That cat's gonna be like, don't put me in that shit. Yeah. That poor
But yeah,
cat. That poor cat will end up being poor little Everest. It'll be looking like, I'm gonna chase that fucking squirrel. You let me go.
right.
I'm gonna chase that motherfucking squirrel.
The cat,
Then,
I can see the cat waiting in the stroller. You ready, Everest? You ready? Let's go.
yeah, right. Like, yeah, they'll be strolling buddies together and be like, man, come on. You see, yo, I tell you what, if she lets me go, I don't know. I can bring you something.
Right.
You need more
Everest
snacks?
be like, let me jump in with you.
Yeah, right. Like, I'd be like, all right, you rolling? Like, oh shit, you see that cat? Don't wave at that cat. Don't wave at that cat. That cat's a bad
That cat's a
motherfucker, man.
bitch, man.
That cat's
Have
a
you seen
bitch,
what he's done to the dog?
right? And then it'd be like, that cat's a bitch. Shit, your mom's here. That cat's a bad person. That cat's a bad person. That cat's a bad person. The little Everest turns away, but I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fuck you up. You don't want none of this shit. You lucky I'm strapped in this shit. You lucky. It's a bad cat. It's a bad cat.
Like, wait till I see you later.
Right? Let this little boy go away from me. I'm fuck you up. Shit. You lucky. You know what? It ain't even pink. This is salmon. This is salmon. Don't judge me, bitch.
Oh, but I laugh because like my sister's cats always get into so much mischief. And these are the same cats that like she sent me a photo around, I think it was around Halloween, and she put underneath the caption, she's like, get cats, they said. It'll be fun, they said. And her cat literally found a hole like this big in the wall, climbed through it, and got stuck in the wall.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So all you saw was the little paw out the hole, like, come on, I'm here.
Then eventually it's like, leave me. Just
Yeah.
leave me.
Just let me die.
Right? It's them slow like meows, and it's like fuck. I don't know. It sounded like a good idea. And then I can't like turn myself in here and get back. Fuck it. I don't know. I don't know. You got any tuna down here? Like just leave it at the hole. I don't know. I got a paw that can get out. I got it.
Right?
But yeah, that's some shit. Like, I remember we were getting cats for Xander, like for like us, the three of us, me, him, and Ash. And we got one was Daryl and one was Strawberry. Ironically, Daryl
Daryl
Strawberry.
Strawberry.
But so we got it, and Strawberry was like more of a menace. Like they were just getting acclimated because we took them to my mom's, and shit you not. I'm almost sure it's Strawberry. Ashley, if I'm wrong, you tell me. But Strawberry like got in one of those holes, but it was like a grate and wouldn't get the fuck out. Like I don't know how they do that. It's like I understand they want to like get away from everybody, but then they don't understand that if they get stuck, they're fucked. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
And like my landlord contacted me. You're gonna get a kick out of this one because it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, I love it.
So when I moved here almost 13 years ago, right? And so my new landlord, because somebody sold he bought this building 2 years ago. And so now he hired somebody to do like taking care of the rent, taking care of maintenance, like because obviously he doesn't do it. He hired somebody else to do it. So the person he hired, she messages me, right? And this is, of course, second year. She knows who I am. She messages me and she's like, by any chance, do you happen to have your original lease? You mean the lease from fucking 13 years ago? No, I don't have the original lease. I was like, why do you ask? And she's like, well, I don't, we don't have it on file or system how much you put down, like what your deposit was. And so I told her, I was like, 13 years ago, it was $350. And she was like, no, it wasn't. I was like, yes, ma'am, it was. She goes, well, why so little? Because it was 13 fucking years ago.
Jesus. Oh my.
Like,
but now, if that was my dad, he'd be like, 13 years ago, hold on. There it is. I got it. It's been here the whole time. I just, saving it for a rainy day. You never know, you might need it.
Right? Oh my God, I almost lost my shit because I went to the bank to talk financing with, the car. And the lady who's helping me, she literally goes, oh, so you've been renting for 13 years? And she goes on to this whole spiel about how I was wasting money and not building equity. And I'm like, I get all that, but let me tell you, A, I'm hardly ever home. And two, okay, I don't want to be held responsible for major things around the house when I'm hardly home. I want somebody else to be able to come in and fix their shit. So
Yeah.
when the heat goes out and it's not my problem, I call the landlord who has it fixed within 24 hours. Like that's how I roll.
Yeah.
And she would not take no for an answer. She was just like, I could help you buy a house. What part of I don't want a house did you not understand?
You understand the premises of why I'm here, right?
Right?
Right? I don't want a fucking house. I want the car.
Exactly.
I want the car. Like, I don't know what shit you're trying to sell me upstream. Car.
Right? That's all I need. Car.
Right?
And then
It's
she
like,
goes, and then like as she finally comes back to the car, right? She's like, why do you want a new car? Well, why not? Do I have to run every car I have into the ground?
it's like, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were going through like history. Hold on. Okay, chapter 16. Most of my commuting is done with my personal vehicle, and I need a new fucking car.
Right?
Like, dude, like I swear.
My last car, I had over 200,000 miles on it.
Well, I brushed my teeth.
Hello, hi. You're great. Okay. Good night.
And I'll see you in the morning, pal.
I'll see you in the morning, pal. Thank you for popping on,
Welcome.
my guy.
But my last car, it was over 200,000 miles, okay? And I
Mhm.
ran it so much into the ground that the engine was just done. Kapoosh. Done.
Yeah.
That I couldn't even drive it anymore. I had to have a tow truck come and take it to a garage, to a what's it called? A dumpster? Not a
Yeah, like a junkyard.
junkyard. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm trying to avoid that from happening again.
Right.
So
So
like,
you're trying to be proactive, and you're like, hey, you know what? I think I'm financially doing okay. I got things going on. My stars are aligning, and you're trying to sell me a fucking house.
yes. I just like sat there and I was like, if I wanted this type of lecture, I would have asked my dad.
Right? In the back of your mind, you're like, you know what? Maybe dad don't sound so bad. You know what? At least dad ain't gonna give me the whole fucking spiel about like, so why aren't you buying a house while you're buying a car?
Right?
Like, oh my god. I don't know, maybe like that's so crazy. It's like,
Mhm.
but that again, I guess it's because like the market or whatever. So it's like, hey, would you like to try to get like a home equity loan and all? Like, no.
Mm-mm.
D- Did you? Did you not?
Right?
Like
Just want the car loan.
you just start holding up a sign that just says car loan. Car loan. But hey, but the house with car loan. Like, dude. Now you know what's gonna happen, right? Is how we were talking before we started about the
Mhm.
phone calls, about the loans and whatnot. They're gonna
Yes.
start calling you about house ones.
They
They're like,
better not. They better.
you're looking to buy a home, Miss Samantha? No. No.
No, I'm not.
And they'd be like, oh, okay. 3 or 4 of them be like, what was that bitch's name from the fucking bank? Because I'm gonna fuck her up.
Like, all right, I will share personal. Like, my credit score right now is 815. Okay, I don't need a house to get it any better.
But like that's what I'm saying is like with that good of credit, you're okay for the fucking auto loan. Like you're
Yeah.
golden. You're great.
Yes.
So why would you just try to like fuck it up by giving you like both?
Right.
It's like, oh, 815? Oh, that's great. You know what? Home and a car. How about fuck you, Diana, and a car? Like, Jesus. Like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah. And then it was like so worse because like I'm just like, okay, let's just like wrap this up. Let's get going. Like we're good. You know, like she just kept going. I was like, bitch, I don't want a house.
you know what I would have did right when you're closing it all up? You'd be
Mhm.
like, hey, thank you for your time and blah, 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 blah. Start walking out the door and just go to open the door and be like, you know what? Tell me about them house loans again. Hey, you know what? You might have had me sold on a house.
She asked me, and I was just like, how the fuck is she working for a bank? She asked me why I went to the bank for a loan and did not bother to go through the auto place. I was like, you're joking, right? You're joking. Why? Let's see. First of all, going to the bank, okay? I could get better interest with a bank loan than I can from the dealership.
Right.
Two, okay, I'm only getting one bank to hit my credit score compared to the how many banks that are going to be looking at my credit, like
Absolutely.
messing with that. And I looked at her and I was just like, I would imagine you know this answer. Like
I would have just shut the fuck up and kind of shut down. I'd be like, you just only sell house loans, right? Is that what's happening here? Is this what's happening? Because you don't know you're headed from a hole in the fucking ground. Like what is going on?
she probably went home to her family and was like, I sold my first car loan today, guys.
The kids are like, Mom, that's fantastic. You've been trying to do that for like 26 years. She's like, I know. I had to be told how to do it too from this young lady. How many house phones you sell today? None. I thought I had one.
She was so fixated on that car loan, man.
Right? Be like, Steven, you can't go to private school next year. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The car loan lady didn't want a house.
It's okay. I'll get her. I'll keep working towards it.
But I tell you what, Steven, I'll get that bitch. I'll get her. I'll get her. She'll be back. She'll be back.
She'll be back after the 99th phone call.
Right? Meanwhile, Kenneth, her husband, like grabs her arm and was like, Diana, she ain't coming back.
Right?
Like, she's not coming back. Just like you know.
It's okay, honey. It's okay. It's
okay.
I get it's a tough loss.
It's gonna be all right. All right. No, but Steven's gonna go out in the streets, start selling meth and whatnot. Be like, no, whoa, why so dark? Life's not gonna be that bad. Now she's gonna go and she'll end up buying a home from somebody else, and then she'll bundle her shit on like Geico, and I'm like, fuck me, I could have had it. Yeah,
Right?
no, you really couldn't have. Like, oh my god. But I mean, like, even when you're buying a car from a dealership, it's like crazy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like I was shocked how quick the turnaround was with drive time for when I wrecked the Honda. When I wrecked the Civic and got the Compass, like it was like instantaneous, and I was like, oh, all right, cool. But like, I was there roughly 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, like okay. But then it's more or less like you're not dealing with the banks, you're not dealing with all this. It's like you put
Mm-hmm.
down payment down, and it's like kind of in and out. The
Yeah.
interest rate, I will give the only that thing to drive time is the interest rate is high.
Yeah.
But if you're in a pinch for a vehicle, they're fucking great. Like, yeah.
I feel
But
like Carvana is the same way because I was looking at Carvana before before I was like, I'm settling on a new one, and the interest rates on there were outrageous.
they got to pay for that fucking vending machine somehow.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, they have to. But I mean, if I were you, I'd be like, now I'm in a predicament because like this bitch was trying to sell me a house. This has high interest rates, but I get to use this big ass coin in this big ass vending machine.
I get to watch my car come out of a vending machine, guys.
Right? I get to watch my car come out of a vending machine, but for 26% interest, no, all right. But then I still have Diana breathing down my neck about his fucking house.
Right?
It's like, you know what? I should have just called my dad. Like,
I had more success because the lady from the car dealership called I think it was like this morning, and she's like, "Oh, you're interested in this car?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Oh, it's a great choice. I love the color that you chose." She's like, "What time do you think you come in? Like, what day and time?" So I told her, I was like, "Wednesday after work, like, no big deal." And she was like, "Oh, great." She's like, "Okay." And then she put down the time, and I was like, "Well, I may be a little late to traffic." She's like, "We're not going to like penalize you for being 10 minutes late." She's like, "We just need an idea so that we could get the car ready for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like, "All you have to do is right now," and I told her like I was going to the bank, getting the loan. She's like, "Okay, well, all you have to do is bring in the cashier's check,
Yeah.
from the bank." She's like, "Bring in your driver's license, three recent pay stubs, and proof that you live at your residency." And she's like, "If all goes well and smoothly, we'll have you off the lot in an hour." And I
To
was
be
like,
continued.
"To be continued." Yes.
To be
But she
continued.
was like more useful and helpful into bam, bam, bam. This is what you need. This is what we need from you. And we'll set this all up compared to the woman at the bank.
Right? So if we end up doing the holiday episode this weekend or something like that, and it starts off with Samantha losing her fucking shit because she was there for like 6 hours, I'm sorry now, but it might happen. It just might.
Look, it better not, because seriously, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't have like a whole lot of impulse decisions, but my car is in good running condition. It just reached 140,000. And I was like, this car is almost 10 years old. I've had it for 9. I was like, you know what? It's still good. And I had been talking about it for a while now, where I was like, all right, maybe I'll give it to my mom. Maybe I'll give it to my parents. But like, my dad was like, we don't need another car. I don't want added in, to have to pay another car insurance and registration and all that. So then I asked my younger sister, I was like, "Do you want the car?" And she's like, "Well, no," because she's still working towards getting her license. So she was like, "No, what am I going to do with it? Have it sit in the driveway?" And I was like, "It's up to you." So when they decided that they were not good, none of them were interested in the car, I was like, "Fine, I'm trading it in. Like, that's the way it is." And so I was like so set on, I already have a Hyundai Elantra. I'm just going to upgrade it. That's all I'm going to do is just upgrade, and we'll be okay with it. And then all of a sudden I was like, "But your heart is set on a Kia. It's always been a Kia." And then people were like, "No, no, no, you should really get a Honda, and you should, Honda, and get in the Accord and this and this." And my friend owns a CRV and a Civic, and she's like, "Both run totally great. Never had any problems. My CRV is at 170,000 and my Civic's at 202." And I'm like, "Okay, but what's your guys' warranty? Like, you guys seem to forget that all of you that are talking to me don't drive as often as I do."
Right.
Like, in a typical day for me and my job, depending on how many sessions I have,
Right.
I could be driving anywhere from 2 to 6 hours per day.
Yep.
In my personal vehicle. Okay, that's a lot of wear and tear. That's a lot of gas. That's not including the 2 to 3 times a year that I travel from here to New York, which is a 9-hour drive.
Right.
So, like, I gotta take into consideration the longevity of my car based on all of that.
Right.
Not, I work from home and I, take my kids out on the weekends.
Right.
So, and so then I talked to my cousin, who is, he's a mechanic, and he was just like, "Don't get this type of car. Don't get this type of car." He was like naming off all the problems that I would run into. And then he goes, "Well, what car are you looking at?" And I kid you, I was like, really, like, my heart right now is set on a Kia K5. And he just like turned and he went, "Yeah, those are bad girls. So I would get that too." And my cousin started laughing. She goes, "You'd have to forgive him. He has a total man crush on that car."
Yeah. But yeah, like, dude, my brother used to do that too. He'd be like, because I would sit there and like, I would always like coerce with my dad and be like, "Hey, I'm interested in this, and maybe this one's all right, and whatever." And I remember when we were looking at the Jeep, I was texting him. I was like, "Jeep Compass." He's like, "Just make sure the oil is okay." I was like, "Is anything not sacred?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, no, there's a problem with every car.
Yeah.
He was like, besides wear and tear, he was like, but he was like, but the oil's not bad. He was like, just
Hmm.
gotta change the oil. And I was like, okay. Then I asked him, like, what happens if I don't? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because I want to know. And he's like, oh, nothing. He's like, just don't go like miles and miles and miles without
Hmm.
it. He was like, if you're over it, like, a couple thousand, he was like, so what?
Yeah.
He was like, but he would tell me like the basics of anything. Like when I had the
Hmm.
Civic, he's like, "Oh, it's a great car. It's got that can go like 300,000 miles." I was like, "That's not what I intend on it to do."
Yeah.
But okay, all right, good to know.
Well, this was something that my cousin told me. He was just like, well, with your he's like, with the amount, you're looking for longevity with your car and with how much you drive, he's like, I would recommend you looking to get in an automatic. And I'm thinking automatic versus shift. And I was like, well, aren't they all like automatic? And he's like, no, I'm talking about the transmission. And I was like, again, aren't they all automatic? And he's like, no, the big thing now is that they're making CVT transmissions. And he was like, it's like he was saying that it doesn't like shift. It's all like not even like a belt, but it's like a motor that keeps going. So like
Yeah,
you don't even feel it shift anymore. Like,
nope,
so it's just like nice and smooth and goes. And I was like, well, what's wrong with that? He was like, they're cheaply made and they don't last. They won't get you to 100,000. He's like, before you run into a lot of problems, it's gonna be before 100,000 miles.
right.
I was
That,
like, well, fuck that shit.
that's why I mean, like, if I get in a car, like when Brandy got her 2024 tracks, like I wanted, like when she asked me to drive it, I was like, okay, bet, no problem. I was hearing for that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
will it shift on me? What are we dealing with here? And I was
Yes.
like, all right. So I started like I gave it a little bit and I felt it like whoomp, whoomp. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
But it was like to me, like and I understand that too. It's the warranty, one, that's great, but also the longevity of the car.
Mm-hmm.
After the warranty, because it's like all of a sudden the warranty's over and the shit goes crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I like about the Kia is because so the Kia K5 will get you 39 miles per hour highway, and it'll get you, I think, like 32, basic, which is
Yeah.
pretty damn good for gas.
Fuck
And
yeah.
then they have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on that car. And I was like, fuck
Yeah.
yeah, like that's the shit I need.
Yeah, and that basically that sold. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
But don't if I'm if I'm wrong, just tell me. But I swore Hyundai still had 100,000.
It does. That's because Hyundai bought Kia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Kia kept the company name, but Hyundai owns them. So that's why you'll see a lot of similarities with the cars. Like they actually have the same type of engines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because we took I think we took a Hyundai an Elantra.
Hmm.
No, it's not a some yeah no an Elantra. To Steph's wedding in Jersey. Man, I was in love with that fucking thing. I really was. It was smooth, like real laid back, enough room for me and X to drive there, drive back. Like
Hmm.
I think I filled up like in Pittsburgh, like in PA, finally coming home. And I was like, man, this is great. The thing that fucked me up was when it was like I was driving for so long and this little thing dinged up on the middle of the dashboard. It was like, do you need a coffee break? I was like,
Yes.
no,
I
motherfucker.
love that.
I was like, no, motherfucker, I want to keep going. Like,
Right?
like, how you gonna tell me how to live my fucking life? You think you need a coffee break? No, dickhead. I'm just trying to get home. Like, I don't have time for you to sit there and chastise me about my driving and my
Hmm.
life. I'm sorry I was on the road for 5 hours. I don't need a fucking break.
All right.
I was
But
like,
that's what I like about like that was also another key is like not only like the longevity but like the reliability. I needed the safety. Like I practically live in my car. I
absolutely.
need it to be safe.
Yeah. I was like, so this is it's a it's definitely worth the impulse that you're doing. It's
Hmm.
definitely worth the buy. The warranty's fantastic. I mean, I
It's
just hope
to
it's
me,
an
I feel
hour
like
to
it's a
get you
win.
in an
Yeah.
I just hope it's an hour. Cause don't text me and be like, I'm still fucking here. It's been 3 hours. I'll be like,
I'll be texting you, be like, okay, so I know I wanted this one, but I think I now want these two, and I can't make a decision.
And then all of a sudden you'll be like, and then that fucking bitch from the bank showed up, and here we fucking go.
I don't even wanted a house.
Like, Paul, I did an impulse and I bought 2 vehicles and a fucking house.
2 vehicles and a house in one day. Merry fucking Christmas, Sam.
And I'll be like, you know what? Next time, get your dad. Like, just get your dad. Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god, impulse my ass. That poor credit score just hit a big fucking one. Bang. I'll be like, what?
Right.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. But yeah, you'll have to let me know how it goes. And of course,
I will. I'll
but
send you pictures. I will.
yes,
I'll send you pictures.
absolutely. But yeah, I was like, obviously, if Samantha's going up to New York, maybe we'll think about doing like an episode or the holiday episode this weekend to, because I'm going to need a break, of course, because the holidays are going to be right around the corner for myself. Also, if I can't have Sam, then I know that Eric would show up for the holiday episode. He's already told me about that. But again, I digress. If he cannot, then we'll figure out something. We have did it already. But anyway, we'll just see how it goes. I was like, I'd like to again thank Rebecca for popping on the show and telling her story. Sam, try not to kill anybody at the dealership. All right.
Do I have to make that promise, or would you be willing to bail me out?
I mean, all right. If you want to start a GoFundMe for Sam's bailout, check Joe Thoughts podcast fucking YouTube and like, hey, it's just getting crazy up in here. Why haven't they had a new episode in like, I don't know, like 3 months? Have you checked the news? Like,
She went ballistic on the woman from the bank.
right? The bitch showed up and she just caught hands. I don't know what happened. But the security footage speaks fucking volumes.
She seemed calm up until this bitch came.
She was fine. She was settled. The first hour passed and she was like, hey, whatever, fuck it. Then it was like 3 hours. And then all of a sudden, this fucking dude bitch fucking walks in and Sam's like, bang.
It's you.
It's like she didn't even think about it. She was like, you just go, I'm here. I'm stressing the fuck out. You catching these hands. And you know what? After I beat your ass, I want a house. You know what? A house doesn't sound so bad. Jesus. I was like, yeah, we will. We'll figure it all out. But as always, thank you, Sam, for being on here. As like for Samantha and myself. Maybe we'll see you next week. Maybe it'll just be me just out here using props and.
I'll keep you posted, Paul. If I'm on, it's gonna be from my car, but I'll keep you posted.
But like, I just bought this. It better be fucking worth it.
Right? Meanwhile, cozying up in my heated seats.
Right? Then all of a sudden, by the way, I kidnapped this bitch. Like, fucking back.
Be out there, you hear my mom knocking. You okay, Sam? Everything okay?
Be like, can I get in on this? I'll be like, come on, bring it in. It's fine. Nah, we'll make it work. It's no big deal. As always, we will catch y'all next time. As always, that's Sam. I'm the Big Show. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.